Cheers, I do buckaroos. I think I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer. It is just about Christmas, so well, it's actually Christmas Eve as I do this video. My first drink of the evening is rather late on a Christmas Eve. So we took the grandkids to church, took them home, came home, had a little bite, relaxed a little bit, thought about just going to bed, then I decided I'd go ahead and have one after all. So I've got poured in the decanter that I got for Christmas some Pendergast Royal Gold. And here I have in the glass some glasses I got for Christmas. An ounce and a half pour. Let's take a look at that as I read a little bit from their website here. Tasting notes are caramelized sugar, pleasant oak, and stone fruits. I think when I did my original video for this, I did not read this, and my personal notes were slightly different, but not too far off. Until he could fire up his own still, the country's most corrupt political boss, Tom Pendergast, procured the finest bourbon, bottled it, trademarked the brand name, and sold Royal Gold to a thirsty public. In the same spirit and the same name, we present Pendergast Royal Gold. We didn't have to bribe anyone to make it taste this good. Aromas of caramelized sugar. I believe my initial representation was dark brown sugar, but pleasant oak. I think I said toasted oak and stone fruits. This bourbon is perfect for treating special guests to achieve a smooth, well-balanced flavor. We finish Royal Gold in hand-selected 14-year-old ruby port cask. That really helps bring out the fruit notes of the whiskey. It is a 90 proof whiskey and it is absolutely gorgeous. It has become one of my favorites. I just discovered it back in September when my wife and I were in Kansas City for our 25th anniversary, and I just fell in love with this stuff. So now that I know what I'm supposed to get, caramelized sugar, pleasant oak, and stone fruit, when I can tell you that how I'm interpreting those aromas. Yeah, I can see caramelized sugar again. I'm interpreting those as it kind of feels like a light brown sugar to me. Pleasant oak, and I'm still gonna say we'll go with my original assessment of toasted oak and stone fruit. Sure, why not? But if I had to break it down, I would say more plum than any other stone fruit. You may find some others, but for me, I get a very dark plum. I also feel like there's a lot of vanilla in here. There's also a fair amount of toffee. I'm going to say toffee rather than caramel. The aromas of this whiskey are incredible. The flavors are incredible. But one thing I really love, and I can't stress enough, is the texture, the mouthfeel. It is absolutely perfect. That silky smooth, that velvety texture that's just gorgeous. I don't believe they mention you get a fair amount of spice in the finish. I get a lot of cinnamon. I also feel like you might get a little bit of ginger, a little bit of allspice as well. But there is a pleasant amount of spice in the finish. Yeah, stone fruits. Yeah, you're going to get whatever stone fruits you feel. For me, again, I'm going to say I feel more of a dark, almost overripe plum than anything. That stone fruit front anyway. Pleasant oak, sure, kind of runs all the way through, but you really feel it in the finish, partly with that spice. And then again, I'm going to say that toasted oak feels like you get this nice toasted oak feel. Caramelized sugar, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it makes sense now that I read that. But yeah, having not read that when I looked at it before, it does have that brown sugar kind of feel to it. I'm surprised they don't mention vanilla though. There's a whole lot of vanilla going through here. Again, a caramelized sugar that makes sense if you're caramel. But if again, I'm going to take it a step further and say it feels like more toffee because it's a little richer aroma and flavor and mouthfeel. Then caramel is a little creamier to me, whereas toffee is a little, it's a richer, more decadent taste and aroma. And I also give these nutty, almost amaretto-like notes as well. Hmm. I got these glasses at one of my office Christmas parties. It actually was with a set of 8 whiskey stones. And I've been using those whiskey stones a lot, actually. But I did want to have this whiskey. I did just needs. I actually haven't tried this one with the whiskey stones, so I might. When I this I'm on my second bottle of this whiskey. In the first bottle, I did have some on the rocks just to try it, and I did use it as a Manhattan because that's how they make it there at their distillery. But this whiskey is so again rich and decadent. It just feels like it ought to be drank neat. Mm. Yeah, I had one bottle left of this Pendergast, so when I got that decanter for Christmas, I used that, and I had one drink out of it at that time. And I put it away and was going to open it on Christmas or have another drink on Christmas, but I decided to go Christmas Eve. Then I probably won't have any more. I may have an ounce and a half tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure yet. I have some other stuff to work with as well. But if I don't, I will have it again on New Year's Eve. I don't want to. I don't like powering through. I like to save them and savor them. I typically have, in all fairness, no. I mean, I typically have anywhere between, 2 to 5 different bourbons at any given time on various price points, ranging from, well, at the moment I've got the Jim Beam Black at the lower price end, but I picked it up at a great price at under 20 a bottle, and that's just a nice whiskey for. I mean, it's great for cocktailing. I personally don't highball very much, especially this time of year, but it's great for rocks. For a $20 whiskey, I mean, it does have some nice flavors, and it's not hard to drink. And then going up to Pendergast Royal Gold is well, I have a bottle of the cast strength J. Rieger's bourbon, which is probably the highest end bourbon I have, and then down from that would be the J. Rieger's. I was a Macadoodle store barrel pick. I was actually involved in picking that particular one, but it's 100 proof J. Rieger's. That's finished in Laird's Applejack. So if I'm going just by price points, the Pendergast Royal Gold is third in line. But it's number one in flavor. It's just a brilliant whiskey, and I gotta admit, a lot of people get fooled by packaging and price. They think if it's got a pretty bottle, if they put some time into the bottle, or if it costs a little bit more, it's going to be a better bourbon, or if it's aged longer. But bourbon isn't the same animal as Scotch. A longer aged bourbon doesn't necessarily ensure a better whiskey, and neither does a higher price point. You really got to be careful because there's a lot of there's a lot of brands out there that are better at marketing than making whiskey. It's the same thing involved in beer, man. You think the King of Beers is the best beer out there? No, but they're brilliant marketers. And whiskey is the same way, but you got to be careful. For me, anyway, with bourbon and American, especially small batch whiskey like this, in my opinion, this at just under $50 price point is better than some of the more commercial brands at twice the price. I just think this whiskey is phenomenal. Um, there's just a lot of dimension here. The aromas, the flavors are just so spectacular. And again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's that texture, that mouthfeel. Again, that's so incredible. Like this fake backdrop I got behind me anyway. Yeah, I like to dress it up for Christmas. Well, I had another one going, and I was gonna, I usually sit between my Christmas tree, but since this one had a Christmas tree on it, I thought it might look funny with my Christmas tree and this Christmas tree. But anyway, nobody cares, Tom. Anyway, anyway, I digress. Merry Christmas from the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom and. Mm. All around good guy. Yeah, again, you might feel some other stone fruits in there. You may get some nectarine. I don't feel any peach whatsoever. Again, you might, but it's really up to you what you get. You might feel some apricot, but for me, what's the most dominant stone fruit is plum, and it feels like a very dark, overripe plum. So there you go. One more time with feeling. Merry Christmas Eve to y'all. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy. Cheers.